She rolled her eyes. Stop being insecure, while laughing in his lap like I wasn't there. I nodded once and disappeared from the party. Hours later, she was outside my house crying, calling my name after finding out why I hadn't followed her. I'm 33, and I thought I knew what love looked like. We'd been together for 3.5 years, living together for the last 18 months in what I genuinely believed was a solid relationship. Sure, we had our issues. Who doesn't? But I trusted her. That was my first mistake. The party was at her best friend's place last Saturday. One of those casual gatherings that starts at 7 and somehow turns into a full house by 9. I wasn't particularly excited about going, but she'd been talking about it all week, so I showed up like a supportive partner does. We got there around 8. The place was already packed with her friends, co-workers, and people I'd never met. She immediately gravitated toward her work crowd, which was fine. I grabbed a beer and made small talk with a few people I recognized from previous gatherings. Nothing felt off at first. Around 9:30, I went looking for her, found her in the living room, sitting on the armrest of the couch. And there he was, her coworker, the one she'd mentioned a few times over the past couple months. Always casual mentions. He's hilarious, or he really gets my sense of humor at work. Never anything that set off alarms, until I saw them together. She was leaning into him, laughing at something on his phone. Her hand was on his shoulder, not just resting there, gripping it, familiar and comfortable. As I watched, she actually slid down from the armrest into his lap for a second, adjusting her position while still focused on whatever they were looking at. I walked over. "Hey!" She glanced up, slightly annoyed at the interruption. "Oh, hey, what's up?" "Just checking on you. You've been over here a while." "We're just looking at some work stuff," she said, holding up his phone like that explained everything. "It's funny, you wouldn't get it." "Right," I said slowly. "Can I talk to you for a second? Privately?" She rolled her eyes, and stood up. "Sure. Excuse me," she said to him with this apologetic smile that made my stomach turn. We stepped into the hallway, away from the music and conversation. The walls were thin enough that I could still hear people laughing in the living room, completely oblivious to what was about to unfold. "What's going on?" I asked, keeping my voice level. "What do you mean?" "You were sitting in his lap." Oh my God, I was not. I sat on the armrest and slipped for a second. Stop being insecure. That word. Insecure. Like my valid observation was somehow a character flaw I needed to work on. "I'm not being insecure. I'm watching my girlfriend be all over some guy." "All over?" She laughed, but it wasn't a nice laugh. It was dismissive, condescending. "We were looking at a meme. You're making something out of nothing." "Am I?" "Yes. And honestly, it's embarrassing. Everyone can see how jealous you're acting." I stood there for a moment just looking at her. The defensiveness, the deflection, the way she made me feel crazy for noticing what I was clearly seeing. "You know what?" I said quietly. "You're right. I'm being ridiculous." She looked relieved. "Thank you. Can we just go back and enjoy the party?" "Sure. You go ahead. I'm going to grab another drink." She went back to the living room. I watched her sit back down next to him, immediately leaning in close again, resuming whatever conversation I'd interrupted. She didn't look back at me once. I set my beer down on the kitchen counter and walked out the front door. Didn't say goodbye to anyone. Just left. Update 1. I drove home in complete silence. No music, no podcasts, just the sound of my thoughts getting louder with every mile. My phone started buzzing around 10:15. I didn't look at it. When I got home, I did something I'd never done before. I went to her laptop, the one she leaves open on the dining table because she has nothing to hide. I opened her message app, which was still logged in. I found their conversation thread immediately. It went back 4 months. 4 months. At first, it was work stuff, then inside jokes, then complaints about me. He's been so distant lately. He doesn't get my humor anymore. The kind of thing you say when you're building a narrative to justify what comes next. And what came next was exactly what I suspected. Plans to meet up for lunch that she never mentioned to me. Late-night conversations that happened after I went to bed. Photos she sent him that she never posted publicly. Nothing explicit, but intimate in a way that made my stomach turn. One message from 3 weeks ago. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like if we'd met first. His response, we still could find out. Her response, LOL maybe. Not no, not I have a boyfriend. Just maybe, with a laughing emoji, like it was all a fun hypothetical. I took photos of everything with my phone, sent them to my email. Then I closed the laptop and sat in the dark living room, waiting. My phone had 15 missed calls and about 30 texts by the time I looked at it. The messages started concerned, then confused, then angry. Where did you go? Hello? This is so immature. Everyone is asking where you are. You're embarrassing me. Fine. I'll get a ride home from someone else. That last message came through at 11:20. I didn't respond to any of them. At 12:47 a.m., I heard a car pull up outside. Voices. Her laugh, that same laugh from earlier. I looked out the window and saw him. He'd driven her home. They sat in the car for almost 10 minutes. I watched them talk, watched her touch his arm, watched him lean in close. Then she got out, waved, and he drove off. She came in through the front door, saw me sitting in the dark living room, and jumped. Jesus, you scared me. Why are you sitting in the dark? Waiting for you. Why didn't you answer your phone? I was worried. Were you? She frowned at my tone. What's your problem? You tell me. How was the ride home? It was fine. He was nice enough to drive me since you abandoned me. Abandoned you, I repeated. That's an interesting way to describe leaving a party where my girlfriend was sitting in another man's lap. Oh my God, we're back to this. I already explained. I saw the messages. She froze, completely froze, her face going pale in the dim light from the hallway. What? The messages, all of them, 4 months of them. You went through my phone? Your laptop. It was open. And before you try to make this about me invading your privacy, let's talk about you emotionally cheating for 4 months. I haven't been cheating. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like if we'd met first, I quoted. His response, we still could find out. Your response, lol maybe. Want to explain that? She just stood there, mouth opening and closing. Or how about the lunch dates you never mentioned? The late-night conversations? The photos you sent him that I never saw? Those were just friendly. Don't, I cut her off. Don't insult my intelligence more than you already have. You've been building something with him for months while coming home to me every night and acting like everything was fine. Update 2. She tried to sit down, but I held up my hand. I don't want to hear excuses right now. I want you to pack a bag and leave. What? This is my home too. And you can come back tomorrow when I'm not here to get the rest of your stuff. But tonight, you need to leave. Where am I supposed to go? Call him. I'm sure he'll be happy to help. Her face crumpled. Please, let's just talk about this. I made a mistake. A 4-month mistake? A mistake you were making tonight while I was standing right there? Nothing physical happened, she said desperately. I don't care. You gave him everything that mattered. The intimacy, the emotional connection, the part of you that used to be mine. Whether you slept with him or not is irrelevant. I love you, she said, tears streaming now. I know I messed up, but I love you. You don't love me, I said flatly. You love the stability I provide while you explore your options, but that's done now. Please, she begged. We can work through this. We can go to counseling. I'm not interested in counseling. I'm interested in you packing a bag and leaving my house. She stood there crying for another minute, then finally went to the bedroom. I heard drawers opening, clothes rustling. She came out 15 minutes later with a duffel bag, mascara streaked down her face. "This isn't over," she said. "Yes, it is." She left, and I locked the door behind her. Then I sat back down in the dark and finally let myself feel everything I'd been holding back. My phone started ringing 5 minutes later. I blocked her number. Then came the texts from a different number, probably borrowed from someone at the party. "Please talk to me. I'm sorry. I'll do anything." I ended it with him. "Please." I blocked that number too. Update 3 Sunday morning came with more blocked numbers trying to reach me. Her friends, her mom, even her coworker. The audacity of him trying to call me was something else. I blocked them all. Around noon, I heard knocking at the door, then the doorbell, then her voice. "I know you're in there. Please, we need to talk." I didn't answer. "I'm not leaving until you talk to me." I opened the door. She looked terrible. Same clothes from last night, eyes puffy and red. "What do you want?" "I want to explain." "There's nothing to explain. I saw everything. I know everything." "You don't know everything," she insisted. "You don't know that it was just emotional, that nothing physical ever happened, that I was confused and made stupid decisions, but never stopped loving you." "Do you hear yourself?" I asked. "You're trying to minimize months of betrayal by saying you didn't physically cheat. Like that makes it better." "It does make it better. It means we didn't cross that line." "You crossed every line that mattered," I said. "You built a relationship with him. You shared things with him that you should have shared with me. You complained about me to him, creating this narrative where I was the problem so you could justify getting closer to him. That's not—" "He doesn't get my humor anymore," I quoted. "Remember writing that?" "Because I remember reading it. You poisoned him against me, poisoned yourself against me, all so you could feel better about what you were doing." She had no response to that. "I loved you," I continued. "I trusted you completely. And you spent 4 months lying to my face while building something with someone else. Then, when I noticed and said something, you called me insecure. You made me feel crazy for seeing what was right in front of me." "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm sure you are. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry you have to face consequences. But you're not sorry for what you did, because if you were, you would have stopped months ago. That's not fair. You know what's not fair? Sitting in another man's lap at a party while your boyfriend watches. You know what's not fair. Letting that same man drive you home and sitting in his car for 10 minutes while your boyfriend waits inside, wondering if you're going to kiss him. You know what's not fair? Everything you've done for the past 4 months. She broke down completely, sobbing so hard she could barely stand. Part of me wanted to comfort her. 3.5 years of habit don't disappear overnight. But the rest of me knew this was necessary. "I need you to leave," I said quietly. "Get your stuff when I'm not here. I'll text you times you can come by, but we're done. Please, we're done," I repeated firmly. "Accept it and move on." I closed the door and locked it. She stayed outside crying for another 20 minutes before finally leaving. Update 4. The next week was a blur of blocked numbers and ignored emails. She tried everything. Apologies, promises to change, threats to show up at my work, guilt trips about how much she was suffering. I stayed firm. Gave her specific times to get her stuff, made sure I wasn't there when she came by. Left her things packed in boxes by the door so she wouldn't have an excuse to linger. My friends rallied around me. The ones who'd met her weren't surprised. Apparently, several of them had noticed how she acted around her coworker at previous gatherings. They just hadn't wanted to say anything without proof. "We didn't want to start drama if it was nothing," one friend said. "I get it," I replied, though part of me wished someone had said something sooner. A mutual friend who'd been at the party called me Thursday night. "I heard what happened. I'm sorry, man." "Thanks." For what it's worth, everyone noticed how she was acting that night. It was uncomfortable to watch. Then why didn't anyone say anything? What were we supposed to say? Your girlfriend is being inappropriate? You were there. You saw it yourself. He had a point. She left with him, you know, he continued. After you left, they stayed at the party for another hour, then left together. I know. He drove her home. No, I mean they left together. Like, made a point of leaving at the same time. Everyone noticed. That detail sat heavy in my stomach. The performance of it. The public nature of their connection. Did anything happen after I left? Between them? Not that I saw, but the vibe was definitely there. A few people mentioned it after they left. Great. So I was the talk of the party. The oblivious boyfriend who didn't see what everyone else saw, except I had seen it. I just had the audacity to mention it, and she made me feel crazy for it. Update 5. 2 weeks after the party, I was finally starting to feel normal again. Not good, but functional. Work helped, kept my mind occupied during the day. The gym helped too. Physical exhaustion made it easier to sleep. Then I ran into him, the coworker, at a coffee shop near my apartment. We made eye contact. He looked like he wanted to run. I walked over. We should talk, I said. Look, man, I don't want any trouble. Sit down. He sat. I sat across from him. Did you sleep with her? What? No. I swear, nothing physical happened. But you wanted it to. He didn't deny it. It's complicated. No, it's not. She had a boyfriend. You knew she had a boyfriend. You pursued her anyway. She pursued me too, he said defensively. It wasn't one-sided. I'm sure it wasn't, but you're the one who sent that message about we still could find out. You're the one who encouraged it instead of shutting it down. I liked her, he said. I thought maybe she was unhappy with you, that maybe we had something real. And now? He laughed bitterly. Now I realize she's a mess. After you guys broke up, she got really intense, wanted to immediately jump into a relationship with me, started talking about moving in together, about how we could finally be open about our connection. And I realized I didn't actually want that. I liked the flirtation, the attention, the fantasy. But the reality? She's exhausting, clingy, dramatic. I broke it off 3 days ago. I sat back, processing this. So you helped destroy my relationship for nothing. I'm sorry, he said, and he actually sounded sincere. I really am. I was selfish and stupid, and I didn't think about the damage I was causing. No, you didn't. For what it's worth, you deserve better. She talked about you like you were boring, like you didn't appreciate her. But from what I've seen, you were just stable and reliable, and she confused that with being taken for granted. Thanks, I guess. We sat in awkward silence for a minute. She's been texting me again, he said, begging me to reconsider. I've been ignoring her. Good. Keep ignoring her. I will. He stood up. Again, I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I am. He left, and I sat there with my coffee, feeling a strange mix of vindication and sadness. The barista was wiping down tables nearby, and I wondered if she'd heard our conversation. The whole thing felt surreal, sitting in a coffee shop on a Tuesday afternoon, discussing the wreckage of my relationship with the man who'd helped destroy it. I finished my coffee slowly, watching people come and go. Couples holding hands, friends laughing together, people living their normal lives while mine had been turned upside down. But I wasn't drowning anymore. I was treading water, and that was progress. Final update. It's been 6 weeks since the party. I'm doing better. Not great, but better. She tried contacting me one more time, about 2 weeks ago. A long email about how she'd learned and grown, how she understood now what she'd thrown away, how she'd give anything for another chance. I read it once. Then I deleted it and blocked her email address. I heard through the grapevine that she's struggling. Lost some friends who sided with me. Got a reputation at work for being unprofessional. Tried dating a few people, but nothing stuck. Part of me feels bad for her. A small part. The rest of me knows she created this situation and has to live with the consequences. I've been on a couple dates. Nothing serious yet. I'm not rushing into anything. 3.5 years with someone who betrayed me taught me to take my time, to watch for red flags, to trust my gut when something feels off. The hardest part is accepting that I'll never know when it really started to go wrong. Was it before him? Was he just the symptom of a larger problem? Did she ever really love me the way I loved her? I don't have those answers, and I'm learning to be okay with that. What I do know is this. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When your gut tells you something is wrong, listen. And when someone tries to make you feel crazy for noticing reality, that's not love, that's manipulation. That night at the party, when she rolled her eyes and told me to stop being insecure while sitting in another man's lap, she showed me exactly who she was. I just wish I'd walked away right then instead of trying to talk to her first. But I did walk away. Eventually. And I haven't looked back. Life goes on. That's what they don't tell you about heartbreak. It feels permanent when you're in it. But it's not. One day you wake up and realize you're okay. Different, maybe. More cautious, definitely. But okay. And okay is enough to build on.